Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Good Day La La Land. I'm Courtney Friel, in for Dr. Aaron today.
We're so excited to have you. I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jess Moyer. This is Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Also available on Apple TV and Roku via the EverTalk app.
Yes, happy Friday, Courtney.
Happy Friday. I said Good Day La La Land.
It is a good day.
But Good Morning La La Land.
It's all good. It's a good day, too. It's a good day, too.
Well,
it's
it
Friday.
comes from habit. We're so grateful that you're off your show today to be with us today. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
Thanks for having me. I'm a big fan. And yeah, I usually work local news here in Los Angeles, but love what you guys are doing here too. And I'm actually creating a show with you guys here at EverTalk.
Yes, we can't wait to talk more about that a little later in the show. But first, we want to welcome our very special guest this morning. Hello, everyone back in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us. Dr. Christine is in the house. She is going to talk the old way of thinking versus the new way of thinking in epigenetics. That meaning how our environment really affects us. How are you today, Dr. Christine?
Good morning. Good morning. Wonderful.
So tell us a little bit about how you start your day. What's your morning routine?
Oh, sure. Well, I happen to be lucky that I'm a morning person because my day starts before 5.
Oh.
Yes. So I get up, I have a huge glass of water with lemon juice or apple cider vinegar. That's in my book. And then I sort of relax, do a little meditation, and then I go for a run. Get my day started with a run. And then I've gotten into a really new thing, which I love, which is after my run, I come back and I take my shoes off and I go out in the yard and I ground myself with my bare feet. And I sit there, and we have a nice yard. It's filled with nature. And I do that for about 15, 20 minutes, and then I go back in and get ready, and I have to get to my clinic before 7 o'clock. So
Wow, that's a stellar
busy day,
morning.
and I have 3 young boys. So
They say the most successful people get up at 5 a.m. or before.
Oh, she's testament to that, isn't she? Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. And she's the first person I think we've had who's ever admitted they're a morning person.
Really?
Yes, nobody ever said, even when they get up at 3 or 4, they never say that.
No, you are a brave soul.
I wish I was.
Dr. Sherry. Well, thank you for being with us today and breaking your morning routine. We've got Emily Simpson in the house, hot off the Real Housewives of Orange County. Good morning, Emily.
Hi, good morning.
We're so excited to be talking these gorgeous housewives swimsuits in front of us, Kitten Swimwear today.
That's
but
right.
We want to know, how do you start your day? What's the morning routine like for a real housewife?
Well, for me, I have 3 small children, and I really like to take the morning to enjoy my time before they wake up. So I get up super early too. I usually wake up around 5:45, 6 a.m. and I like to leave my house. And I actually go to like the coffee shop right by my home, and I sit there and I read a book and I have coffee, and I just kind of use that as like my time alone. And then I go back home, and then by that time, all 3 of my kids are up and they're crazy and they need breakfast. And so that's kind of how I start my day.
Wow, I love it. What a mindful morning. Does yours start that way, Courtney?
No. Like I said before, I don't get up at 5 a.m., but I do the kid routine. I drop them off at school
Yes.
before coming here.
That's a big deal itself. Just being able to prepare for all
It's
that.
a second job having children.
Well, you both make it look extremely good. The other half of Kitten Swimwear, the co-founder, Lizzie Robsteck, is back in the house. Good morning, Lizzie.
Hey. For my morning routine, we were just talking about this on the car ride over here. I'm the same. I love waking up early before the kids get up and having that special time, having coffee and just kind of like getting my wits about me. I do a morning prayer every morning, and then the kids come running downstairs, and then I get them off to school, and then I go work out before anything else, and then I come home and get to business, get to work.
Can I ask you guys a question? Do you set your phone alarm across the room? How do you get yourself out of bed? Because I snooze like 20 times.
You know,
I do.
even when I set my
I do,
alarm,
I wake up.
I mean, even when I set my alarm or my alarm on my phone, it doesn't matter.
It's like
'cause
internal
I
alarm.
still wake up.
At like 5:45
I do too.
every single morning, no matter what. Even if I went to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning the night before, it doesn't matter. 5:45, I'm awake.
You're just morning people.
It's the kid
Apparently.
thing.
Yeah. Kids ruined it.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, there goes my sleeping in.
Well, thank you both so much for being with us today. Good morning, Dr. Sherry.
Good morning.
We're so excited. We want to know all about how 2 minds are really creating better lives. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist. We're going to have a very important conversation later in the show. But first, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
Morning is my favorite time as well. I get up about 5 o'clock as well, and it's my favorite time because I'm really into symbols and rituals, and I just treasure this time. I begin with a prayer, And then I follow it with a meditation. I journal, and I just tune in intuitively how my day is going to go. I set an intention for the day, and I just love it because it sets my whole paradigm for the day, and then I watch the magic happen through the day, followed by that intention. And so it's very special. And then I go do my exercise routine, which varies from running to yoga. I like variety there, and I top it off with a great breakfast. And I'm so glad to hear I have my vinegar apple cider every morning. So I'm glad I do something right, and that's my morning, and I'm off to work.
Wow, that's fantastic. I love that you do the prayer and the meditation. For you, what's the difference between the two?
Prayer is inspiration from above, and it reminds me what I'm really all about. Meditation is getting to know myself and getting friendly and trusting my own intuition, and be in awareness.
Fantastic, love that.
I'm a big meditator.
Yeah, me too.
Except I don't do it at 6 in the morning. I just get it in my day somewhere, but always 22 minutes every day.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, you know how our next guest meditates?
How?
A Rubik's Cube.
Oh.
He is
Really?
a record-breaking Rubik's Cube master and an incredible young star on the rise. You probably recognize him as Sheldon from Chicken Girls, the movie starring with Annie LeBlanc. Good morning, Grayson Kilpatrick.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Oh, good. We appreciate you making the effort with us because unlike these lovely ladies, rumor has it you're not so much of a morning person.
My internal clock is broken. I wake up at 3 p.m. Yeah, you guys think that's a joke? No, my parents are over there. You can ask. I normally wake up at 3 p.m. If not, I wake up at like 9:30. I don't have a glamorous morning, that's for sure. I come out of the room not wanting to be up, but then I'll do like school for like 3-4 hours, and then we normally have to go places. But that's literally my morning. It's nothing like you guys. I don't have kids, so
You're
I don't.
young. You're young.
Yes.
I don't go out for walks or coffee. My morning starts with me getting out of bed and having to deal with my dad in the morning being like, hey, morning. Hey. Eat. Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, that's my
One day.
That's right.
One
Don't rush
day.
it, brother. I'm telling you, don't rush that.
Yeah.
Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, well, I enjoy him. Yeah, I enjoy you.
I meant mostly the 3 p.m. wake-ups.
Right.
Yeah. Dad,
Enjoy it
you
while
always
you
want to
can.
enjoy. Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for being with us. We look forward to continuing the conversation later in the show.
Awesome. Friday feels. How you feeling?
Friday feels, I'm still on the mend. Forgive me if I have a little cough, but special thanks to our friends at Next Health for the IV immune therapy that I got and Dr. Shaw's treatment. I'm back on the mend, but I'm so excited because I'm gearing up for the Glam Hive live
Yes.
conference happening in LA. It's the first annual one tomorrow. And
Glam High?
Glam Hive. So it's
hi.
almost like an Uber for personal stylists. So if you ever really wanted to connect with the people who make Hollywood's most iconic looks, we're talking the stylists for Angelina Jolie, Gwyneth Paltrow. They can literally virtually go through your closet and tell you what to wear because we've all had that moment where you're like, I have so many clothes and I have nothing to wear. So if you have a professional eye look at that, even virtually, they can really kind of curate an incredible outfit for you. They can even shop for you if you want, or really come in to your home and dig through your closet.
I
One
love
fun
that.
session.
And they
Sounds
customize
good.
it for you and your personality. And
Oh, absolutely. If you want the Sarah Jessica Parker look, if you're more of a Charlotte, if you're more of a Samantha, they can make it happen for you.
What if I just want The Rock? Doesn't need to wear anything. He's just always well dressed.
Well, then just go to the gym, Rob.
There you
That's
go.
just living naked,
Exactly.
really.
Fair enough.
Is there a Rent the Runway for men?
I haven't discovered one. It's such a great question, and I thought it's such a great business idea. I'm sure there's something out there, but I haven't discovered that yet. That'd be amazing.
Right.
I'd probably spend, most of my
Manifest
check
it.
on.
Manifest it. Well, we're
ridiculous.
so excited for you, Courtney, and for everything you're doing with keeping it real. We want to take a special look at the show you have here on Never Talk.
I think myself and you, I'm sure, want to help people. That's what it's all about. This little show here is, I'm not getting paid for it. It's a passion project for me to use my skills as a TV host. Do you think that it's the trauma, but also the disease that's making you not being able to stop?
It's difficult to tell where one starts and the other one stops.
Right.
They're almost first cousins.
He just said, Jason, our marriage is suffering. We don't know what to do anymore. We're like 2 planks of wood waiting for the phone call that you're dead. And when he did that, for whatever reason, there was a moment of clarity for me. And that was when this journey started. That's when I actually got on, that happened. July 23rd was my first real sobriety date.
And what I always tell people is, if you haven't had long-term sobriety and done recovery and worked on yourself for a long period of time, then you don't know. Then everything your head's saying about it is a lie.
And I've been through this rodeo three times. But I have it down now. If you're getting sober, call me. You just got to stop.
What do you think was your worst moment drinking and your best moment sober?
I'd say my worst moment drinking was when I would, many of the same moments, when I would be lying in bed at about 4:30 or 5:30 a.m. and the Coke birds would start singing. And I think, you've wasted another night. You're going to be a total mess. You're not going to get any work done.
There are a lot of people that die in the process of waiting to get help.
And the pain of the loss of stuff that I had done, and the idea that I was broken beyond repair, and that I could never change, and that I could never get it together was really, I had to recast myself.
We need a platform. I have a platform, and I think it's our duty to use that platform at times to spread a positive message. When I was using, I was looking for people with platforms that I respected to give me the answer. I'm not going to listen to the homeless guy next door.
Brandon Lee, everybody. Thank you for keeping it real with me. That is Keeping It Real. They're 20-minute episodes where we talk about how people got sober, how they're living sober. I've shot 12 episodes so far. We're going to debut them soon on EverTalk and I think KTLA as well.
Love that.
Where I
looks
work.
so fun. It's informative and extraordinary guest. Oh my gosh. So some household names there, right?
Household names, yeah. We had Ben Stein, Pat O'Brien, Daryl Hammond, Billy Morrison, Jason Waller there from the Hills, and I've got a few more lined up, so hopefully many more will agree. You know, it's a challenging topic to talk about because it's a very personal journey for people, so a lot of people either keep it close to their chest or want to remain anonymous, and so, but there's also the people that are spreading the message, and that's what I'm trying to encourage people to be more vocal about living sober, because a lot of people feel like they're never going to have fun again if they quit drugs and alcohol. And if I can use, my experience to help even one person, then it's all meant to be
I
worth
love
it.
that. So, and you're so right about that. It's so much easier to say, oh my gosh, so my friend did this thing. When something horrible, it's always easier to say it was somebody else that did it. But when you have to sort of be that transparent and honest, it can be really challenging.
Yeah, there's a lot of shame for things. I mean, I always say my bottom was a lot higher than, say, for example, your guest yesterday. I know we're going to talk about him, Jason Williams. He had to spend time in jail, lose everything. I fortunately was interventioned before it got to that point of losing my job, getting divorced, those type of things. And but the train keeps going. You can get off at any time before you crash into the wall. So if I get back on the train, I could have a worse bottom, which I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Thank you for keeping it
in
real.
like 2 weeks, I will have 10 years sober.
Wow. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Courtney.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great. I feel like I've stumbled upon this secret that I never knew existed and wasn't planning on doing, and then I got sober. I mean, it took a while to get to that point, but now I love being sober. I'm able to have fun doing everything everyone else does, drinking, and yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing life. So I want to share the good word.
I love that.
Absolutely. We'd love to share a clip of Jason Williams' interview here in Good Morning La Land and on his sobriety. CNE recently did coverage with the Addiction Unplugged. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, they did a great job. They came to me about a year ago and said, like, they wanted to put together a program where it would release the stigma. When you have cancer, unfortunately, if you have cancer, you go get chemo. And if you have an addiction problem, you go get treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to release the stigma here. And they said they were going to do a show and they were going to put 10 of the best treatment centers. Would you want to be a part of it? I was like, if it's going to release the stigma, let's do it. Because so many of my friends, especially people of color, who are unaware of treatment, they don't know that you can use your insurance card, just like when you go to the doctor, and go to treatment and get better. Don't quit your job if you have an addiction problem and ruin your life, ruin your family, that ripple effect that goes down. Go to treatment, spend some time at Futures Recovery Healthcare and get better, or go somewhere if it's not with us.
Wow, what a fantastic interview. I remember Jason Williams. I was always a big professional basketball fan, of course, and I remember watching him and then hearing about his story and boy, the challenges that he experienced. But I love that he's using it like for this higher purpose and really helping people. One of the things he talked about that I'd love to hear your thoughts on is sort of like the stigma around both mental illness and addiction and just, you know, everyday challenges that people face. What's been your experience with that?
I'm just trying to change the stigma thing. I think it's all about the story that you tell. And so people always ask me, I can't believe you tell your bosses. I can't believe you put it out there that you're sober. But again, it's like, this is an amazing thing that I'm doing. Like, I take my sobriety so seriously. It's the most important thing in my life. So I'm a very out there person anyways. Why would I hide this one thing that is so amazing? But yeah, a lot of people are ashamed of what they've done in the past and don't want to point out all of those things. But if it got you to this point, then why not? And why not use your experience to help others? I mean, that's part of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, if you go that route. And I know Jason has his recovery center, and that's a big thing. Like, a lot of people don't want to take 28 days to go to a rehab or inpatient, or they've got kids or a job. And there are many, many, many different ways to get sober. So that's part of what Keeping It Real is about, hearing everyone's different journeys, because there's no one exact way. And people always ask me all the time, well, how did you do it? How did you do it? So stay tuned, I'm writing a book on that.
Of course, I love that. Please keep us updated on that. There's something interesting that you said as well earlier, that Jason, you know, sort of has woven into his treatment center, which was that, you know, sober life can be more alive, it can be more fun, it can be more exciting.
Oh yeah, his treatment center sounds amazing, all the activities. I have a feeling that it's probably expensive, and I don't know if insurance covers it and everything, so if you have the luxury to go that route, that sounds great. But then, as he was pointing out, like, most health insurances do cover inpatient or outpatient or therapy, and there are state-run facilities too. But that's a whole other issue, because a lot of reform needs to be done on that too, because it is hard for people to get help because places are full, for example.
Absolutely. Yeah, as a society, we often don't take mental illness or addiction as seriously as we do something that feels just physical. Right, exactly. So it's a great point.
And in the meantime, how can we continue to love on ourselves, Rob? What advice or tips would you give just to really have self-love?
Yeah, it's such a great question. I actually would defer to Courtney for a second, because I wonder what your experience has been with that. Yeah, with just building self-love. I know, you know, in my life, when I've struggled with any kind of challenge, whether it's financial or relational or familial or health-related, you know, it really can be a blow to your self-esteem, to your self-compassion, and to your self-love. What's helped you?
Look, even with almost 10 years sober, there are periods of time where I feel depressed, and I'm able to recognize it, to be like, oh, I'm icky right now, I don't like this, but I'm not gonna have a drink. So I have to use my healthy coping mechanisms, and as I mentioned before, I meditate 20 minutes every day, which is always a refresher for me.
Yes.
Or just going to sleep, taking a nap.
Oh my gosh, naps are totally
eating some carbs, working out, and I love me some K-Love radio, which is all the Christian music. I really wasn't into Christian music before, but now it's really mainstream, and they've got like the American Idol people singing these songs and stuff. So even when I'm driving into work or anywhere and I have K-Love on, and I do pray as well, but I feel like it's like this, I'm plugging myself in to get charged. And I just feel that connection and meditation. We were talking about this earlier, meditation and prayer. They're just a little different to me, because prayer is obviously more like my direct convo with God, but meditation is more like a spiritual gym. Like, I imagine my brain lifting weights as it's doing the mantras, and for whatever reason, it works. So I just keep on doing it.
I love that, and I would agree with you that I think for me the difference between prayer and meditation is that, like, you know, prayer is me talking to God, meditation is me listening to God. And my intention when I'm meditating is to keep a quiet, still, cool, calm, and collected mind, so I can receive. Jez, what works for you?
You know, I'm still figuring that out, to be quite honest. It's a journey that I've been really trying to embark in, being more self-aware and being more forgiving of myself and more loving on myself. And meditation does not come easy to me, because I have a lot of trouble quieting my mind. But I've noticed that having guided meditation really does help for me.
Yeah, and there's different types of meditations as well. And you can go on YouTube and find any topic. There's even one, because I was writing a chapter about meditation in my book, and I was looking on YouTube for all different kinds, because there's, ones for wealth or positivity. There's meditations for better orgasms.
Yeah.
Wow.
There are meditations for practically everything online. Yeah. Such a good point. So there's definitely an option.
And YouTube is free, so you don't have to go to a class. I don't know if you've done anything with unplugged meditation ever, but
great.
I went there for 2 years. I went to classes, and you get other people's energy and the teacher and the music.
Well, and
that's
honestly,
one
like,
way to go.
Really doing the show and having conversations with our guests who are experts in meditation or self-love and positive thinking, that's been really healing for me. Have you found that same experience having a talk show?
I was going to say, my daily job is really depressing because all I do is cover dead kids and hit and runs and death nonstop. So I think that's part of the reason I wanted to do this show, to kind of go away from that. And also, I'm like sitting here, I'm like, God, I as you're saying that, I'm like, wow, I would love to have those conversations nonstop with people, because you're just like, getting it by osmosis. Whereas in my other job, I'm getting like horrible things, except gratitude for being alive and my kids are healthy and all of that, because freak accidents happen all the time.
Yeah, I love what you're both saying here. I think it's just profound. And I would say that definitely, I don't know if I've ever met anyone who hasn't struggled with meditation, which makes it that much more necessary, right? It's like lifting weights and saying, I'm not very strong, but that's the point of being in the gym.
Right.
That's how you get strong. So
yeah, before I started, I was like, oh, no way. I am not paying a babysitter to watch my kids, so I can go pay somewhere to sit on the floor and sit in silence when I could be burning calories.
Right.
But I just got to like a very icky place in my life. And of course, because I don't have an avenue to like drink and, cope that way, that I was like, I'll give it a try. And once I started doing it, every single time I was doing it, I was noticing different things in my life that were changing. And to the point where if I don't do it, like even if I miss a day, the next day I'm like physically craving it.
I love that you say that. It's been my experience too, both with the gym and with meditation. It's harder for me to miss it than it is to make it, right? Like when I miss it, that's a hard thing. I have to really force myself to miss it.
Yeah.
And
it's just something we have to do now. It's part of the routine. And I wish the whole world would do it, because I feel like so many problems would be solved. We'd all be so zen.
Yes, we would. So then we could be zen and rock out, like Rock to Recovery. That's happening this Saturday. We'd love to share with you a look at last year's event. Stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow. Good morning, La La Land.
This is Jeremy Jackson, and you're watching Good Morning La La Land.
My name is Petra Conti, and I'm watching Good Morning La La Land. This is Dr. Amy Harwick, and you're watching Good Morning La La Land.
Hi, everybody. I'm Drew Carey. You're watching Good Morning La La Land. Hey, what's up? This is Michael Starr from Steel Panther. You're watching Good Morning La La Land.
Hey, I'm Carla Harvey, and you're watching Good Morning La La Land. This is Kira Reed-Lorsch, and you are watching Good Morning La La Land at Rock to Recovery 3.
So here we are, Wes, here, the amazing, extraordinary human being here for Rock to Recover. Look at this. What are you thinking?
I mean, I'm a guy who was almost dead, 120 pounds, cars repoed, nobody wanted to talk to me, jobless, homeless. I thought life was gonna suck. And I never thought music would be part of my life. And somehow, just one foot in front of the other and having this program people taught me, wow, here we are. I mean, how cool is this to get super beautiful woman on the red carpet interviewing me? I mean, life's pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
You all, I am Wes Geer, the founder of Rock to Recovery. Rock to Recovery is a music therapy program that we take into treatment centers. And we work with addiction, we work with mental health, we work with wounded warriors, at-risk youth. We do music therapy. Let me hear you say, hell yeah! Say, hell yeah! Ready for the F-bomb? Say, fuck yeah! I love you guys. Let's do this.
Angeles. Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. If you're like me, there are days you just want to look and feel like a housewife. Well, now you can with Sun Kitten Swimwear. Lizzie and Emily are with us today. Thank you so much for being back with us, Lizzie.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so tell us about the housewife swimsuit.
Well, Lizzie and I have been friends for years, way before I was ever on the show. So I do want people to know that because I don't want people to think we collaborated just because of the show. We actually are friends.
Well, and if you did, that's okay too.
Yeah.
But you get the fans from the show. You get a lot of flack. People are like, oh, you want to get it back on the show. I'm like, no, actually, we've been best friends like for a long time. So
Right. So obviously Lizzie has Sun Kitten Swimwear, but she reached out to me, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago and said, hey, would you like to design a bathing suit? Because I love your whole concept of like body inclusiveness and being positive about the way women are built regardless of size and all that kind of thing. And I thought, wow, that would be great because as a curvier female, I think it's hard sometimes to find a suit that actually like holds everything and looks beautiful and classy and all those kinds of things that you're looking for. So that's kind of where it came from.
And so she sketched up the design. She brought it to me. We sat with the pattern makers and we designed the suit. And when I started,
she looks fabulous in it too.
Doesn't she look great?
Yes.
Well, it has everything. We have like a built-in shelf bra. And we have adjustable up here at the bust, so you can have more cleavage, less cleavage.
All of the cleavage.
On the hip. If you don't like it high cut, you can untie this and bring it down so you're lower. It's got shearing here, and it's double lined, so it really pulls the tummy in and does everything that we want, that you don't need.
Is it like Spanx material?
It's like, a little bit like that. And it's an extremely flattering suit, and then the thick halter is extra support. But
I just love that.
When I had
Fourth
the line,
bathing suits in one in that.
yeah,
That's
you got
amazing.
it all,
Yeah.
right? And then a couple different colors, and we have a wrap dress that goes with it, the Emily wrap dress. So it's a great little combo that we have, and we've been
Does
having
the dress
a lot of
go over the bathing suit or is that separate?
It goes. You can wear it alone or over, and then there's a lace that looks good over a bathing suit because it's kind of
You can see the bathing
sheer
suit through a little bit, yeah. So,
there's
I mean, the whole concept was to be comfortable because I have kids. So if I take them to the beach or the pool, I want to be able to chase them around and not worry about anything falling out. But I also want to look sexy and chic also. So the whole point was to be able to chase your kids, but also look good while you're doing it.
Right. Did you always have that confidence in yourself and in your body?
I think so, but I feel like it's really come forth lately just because I get so much negativity from people because I'm so much taller and bigger than the other women on TV.
You're under a microscope.
Yes, and so you know you read comments constantly about, oh, she's fat or she's this or whatever, and what it does for me is it makes me just want to talk about it more and be more positive because I feel like I look like the average woman. Like, I mean, when I walk down the street, I feel like I just look normal.
You're way tinier than the average woman, too.
So I just,
Hollywood.
so I just feel like it just puts me in a position where we should just celebrate women in general, regardless, and you know, be positive because we all can't be super skinny. It's just not genetically possible. So I don't know. I just feel like it's easier to just embrace who you are and just try to dress for your own body type. And so I feel like that's what we've done.
We did. Yeah. So that's why we designed this. And it's been something that all of my customers have kind of reached out. They're like, so when are you in the skimpy swimsuits? You know, you did Miss USA, you did all this stuff. What's up with the sexy swimsuits? How about making a suit for all women, for real women with real curves in this? So that's why we made this suit. It goes up to size 22, and at the bust 50. It just speaks to a lot more women than just, you know, my typical suits that I originally do. Where
can people get them? Are they going
well,
to
you know, there's a market for that too.
Are they in regular stores or just on your website?
Right now, we're doing pre-orders, and I think we're going to be on Amazon soon. So, but we're just reaching out to. We're doing a lot of just all of our orders right now. We're getting a lot of attention from retailers, and we've already sold tons of suits on our website, and it's just getting a really good.
Traction
getting really good feedback from this. Yeah,
I'm sure it's going to be
having
really
fun.
successful.
It's incredible. So you guys obviously aren't just creatives and you design things. You're also incredible business women and entrepreneurs. What have been some of the takeaways that you've learned along the way about entrepreneurship and being business bosses?
Well, you know, I have always just been a practicing attorney and have worked for law firms. So this collaboration with Lizzie really allows me to use like a more creative side, which I really enjoy because I was really always into fashion growing up and I love to draw and sketch. So when this idea came up, it allowed me to switch from using that analytical, lawyer type sense to like, oh, I get to be creative and draw and that was fun for me.
I've really noticed, because I have been in the fashion and swimwear business since 2011, that you just really have to know your target market and who you're selling to and be very specific on it. And I had a very specific audience for a long time. I mean, I did a lot of the sexier swimsuits. I did Miss USA. We did the Super Bowl commercial and some of Sports Illustrated stuff. So, and I'm a little bit older. I started the company, I was 29. I'm 39 now. It's been a decade. Things have changed, I've got kids and, this speaks to, a different set of, type of women, it's not, you're not, this isn't Vegas, like I've had encore, like
it's Vegas for me, so if I go to Vegas, that's what I'll wear.
Look like Vegas.
Yeah.
Put some pumps on.
So I'm 39 as well. And it's funny because the older you get, the more comfortable you just want to be in everything.
Yes, right.
That's one of the things
but
that
you
has
still
changed
want to look
since
good.
being 29.
Oh, sorry. You still want to look good though.
Oh, for
but
sure.
But you want to be comfortable and look good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially when you're the kiddos.
Yeah.
Look at the pool.
I'm 21. I want to be in sweats all day.
Yeah, but you look good when you dress up.
Thanks, Lizzie.
Well, I really appreciate and admire the both of you in that you've really taken ownership of having the exposure you do from Real Housewives Orange County and really pushing forward in a positive way, despite, rumors or gossip or haters that inevitably come with being a reality star and building a business and being a positive influence to other women. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow your personal journeys as well.
You can find me, I do a lot on Instagram, so it's at RHOC_Emily Simpson, and then Lizzie, obviously.
Yeah, you can find me at Lizzie Rovsek, at Lizzie Rovsek on Instagram or LizzieRovsekOfficial.com. And then this is all at SunKittenSwimwear.com.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you for having us.
More on Good Morning La La Land.
That's how we do it. This is how we do it.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm Jessica Moyer, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
We all crave connection. I'm a big fan of videoing a podcast.
The impact that I'm having people on a podcast is I'm having more impact on those people than I ever did in news.
We want to be heard, but we also need to listen.
Podcasts. I understand they are red hot.
It's actually remarkable how scary to me podcasting is. Everybody should have a podcast.
I really wondered why. I mean, we've been doing this for 12 years. Nobody has done this in other arenas.
We have to change the conversation to happiness over financial success. It was like, we have to. We have to.
Honestly, it was meeting new people who had already heard about what we have done and thanking me for the contribution we're making to their lives.
Oh,
And I thought,
nice. That's
this
great.
is what my purpose is. This is why I was born.
Yeah.
I think this is my first time my book's been up on TV. This is awesome.
You can binge watch.
And binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch. Binge watch. You can binge watch. Please binge watch.
You can binge watch and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Entertainment that will inspire, uplift, and empower you. Anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. Hashtag Friday Feels. We love talking about creating a life you love. Dr. Gedrick is with us to talk about the old way of thinking, genetics versus the new way, epigenetics. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank
you. How would you define the study of epigenetics?
So epigenetics is the new area of medicine that is talking about how our environment is influencing our genetic expression. So basically it's boiling down to choices: how we eat, how clean the air we breathe, the water that we're taking in, all the chemicals that we put on our skin. We don't really think about how these things are influencing our internal chemistry. And basically what scientists have found is that these chemicals can get into the DNA and affect our genetic expression. And so that is really the heart of where chronic disease is on the rise today. And that's kind of the meat of why we have these health epidemics that we did not have 50 years ago.
Wow, it's so fascinating to me. I love this conversation. So of course, when it comes to genes, there are some genes that are a little bit more hardwired, things like eye color, height, that you can't really affect or change that much. But there are other things that can be fully and deeply affected. So can you talk to us a little bit about what kinds of different genetic expressions exist?
Sure. Well, so the older way of thinking, basically, as we grew up, was that if our parents had heart disease, our parents had high cholesterol, this was almost an inevitability. And as we aged, the minute we showed up at the doctor and they said, well, guess what? You're now 35. You have high blood pressure like Dad. Okay, we take our pill and we accept the fact that that's our genetics. But this is really not true. These high blood pressure syndromes, so many of the chronic diseases today can absolutely be warded off if we take care of our body. And there's many different tenets of how we do that, but basically the idea is that this is within our control. We do not have to have the chronic illnesses of our family population.
But if, say, you're living in Los Angeles, where, some 11, 13 million people live in LA, and there's pollution that is affecting us, what do we do to stop that?
Right. So taking care to be as clean as possible, really paying attention to everything that we're putting on our bodies. Our skin eats. I basically tell my patients, pretty much put on your skin almost what you want to put in your mouth. That's how, we really have to think of our bodies in this clean water and sweat. So we all know that exercise is great for our health, but we never really quite understood that probably one of the main reasons that it's good is because sweat is a primary organ of detoxification. This is why sauna has become a very effective strategy for recovering health, because sweat is a way that the body can excrete toxins and clean ourselves. And when you're living in an urban area, obviously more thought has to go into that. When you're living in a cleaner area, you can count on the food and the water supply being even better for you.
It's become almost trendy to detox, especially here in Los Angeles or La La Land, if you will. But is there a point when detoxing is too much?
Yes, absolutely. And I always talk to my patients about moderation, because anything can get overdone. The actual intersection of how detox can influence us in a negative way is that when we sweat, we are also sweating out minerals. And most of us know about electrolytes and minerals from the perspective of replacement. But if you don't replace after you sweat excessively, you will absolutely deplete yourself. And this is when muscle cramps start and enzymes in the body don't work as well. And that can be just as much of a problem for patients.
Wow. So what's the research around fasting or cleanses?
Yes. So very, very interesting. Another major part of the book is talking about the microbiome, which is our gut organ, and how that's influencing our immune system effectively. And so what it turns out is that the reason that you can have this whole disparate view on diets, from the caveman diet to the China study, really reporting tremendous health benefits on either side, is because these different dietary interventions, including intermittent fasting, are influencing the organisms in our gut. And depending on which kind of organism, bacteria, fungus, or parasite, is overgrown, patients will have different responses to these diets, many favorable. So
then in your book, do you have separate different diets that are good for different conditions?
We didn't go into the specifics of the diet, but basically the book is really taking just the average reader through a very intimate understanding in a friendly way of how the gut organ is set up and how it's helping to keep us in optimal health, including the liver and the gallbladder, and then basically how our immune system sits right in the gut and is interfacing out to the rest of the body. So it's showing us how it's so important to eat well, not just for calories, not just to keep our bodies lean, but really to keep our immune system strong so we don't develop things like cancers and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, which they're now linking to the gut.
Wow, incredible. You're like a walking, talking encyclopedia. Well, internet for those folks out there that may not have heard of encyclopedia. Like, when you were
talking Google.
right? Yeah, Google, there you go. When you were like putting this book together, I can only imagine like the amount of research and science that goes into that. It's kind of got to be overwhelming. But you're able to sort of take these very complex principles and break them down into something that's digestible that people can apply in their lives. Was there anything within that surprised you the most? Like when you just started looking into the research and saying, wow, this is something I didn't expect.
So first of all, it took over 5 years to write the book. And there were several versions of it. The last version actually was much more scientific and headier, and it would have lost readers. So we really diluted it back. There are other books coming now with more detail around specific conditions. I'm working on one for autoimmune disease. That will provide very specific interventions. But truth be told, my patients have been my teachers. I mean, I owe everything to my patients. I have an amazing group of, always under active care, but now it's been over 6,000 that we've worked with all different problems from, some of the more difficult diseases in medicine today. And through recovering them, their journeys have really steered me to the research, and I read constantly. I'm the mom on the soccer field that has like 25 articles, and I'm sitting there in my chair. I read all the time in my spare time.
Well, thank you so much for being with us and for the insight you've shared. Please tell everyone where they can find, follow you, and get your book.
Okay, so basically I practice at the Gedrick Medical Institute. It's gedrickcenter.com, and there's actually going to be a book signing in September 5th. I'm from New Jersey. It's back there at Bayer Ford. And so thank you all very, very much.
Thank you very much,
Wonderful.
Dr. Gedrick. Stay
Thank
tuned. We'll be
you.
back with more on Good Morning La La Land. Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land on hashtag Friday Feels. It's all about love. So we have a marriage and family counselor with us today, Dr. Sherry McDonald. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm most excited.
So tell us a little bit about this book, The Whisperings from Within.
This book, I came from my own life experiences, and so I had a turning point. And I think we all have turning points in our life. You shared a beautiful one this morning, and mine was with my younger sister when she was born. My brother and I came home from preschool with the German measles, and my mother was pregnant with my sister, and so she was born with German measles and had cerebral palsy. And so for some reason that I think I attached a responsibility to that, and at 5 years old, and it's amazing what our little minds will do and what we'll attach to. And so, but through that process, relationship, she taught me everything about love, for one. She just emanates love. And so she taught me what life really is all about and what how we impact people. And so through her story and through her struggles and just watching other people interact with her, I realized it wasn't about all the outside. It's about the whisperings from within. And she has this knowledge and this wisdom that I just hungered for. And so my journey in my books and my working with people, I hunger for their whisperings within, learning from them, and through what they carry through the windows of their eyes and what their souls are all about. And so that's where that book came from.
It's amazing because a lot of people who have extraordinary challenges a healthy person doesn't have, what they can teach other people. Because in my main job, I'm a news reporter and anchor, and I will meet the person who just lost their arms and legs from meningitis, or the person who has 99% of their body scarred from burns, and they're the most positive people. And it always blows me away as to how they can live like that. And then it puts things into perspective, of course, because it's like I'm healthy, my kids are healthy. Like I shouldn't be complaining that I'm having a bad day because I have arms and legs.
Right, exactly. So, and they say we are really strong and resilient creatures, and that if you meet those people, and that if we have a tragedy in our life, and maybe you can recall one of your own trials and tribulations, that if we go and meet each other a year from now, our personalities will reset and go back to the natural state of happiness prior to our crisis. And so even if we have no arms, we find another way to adapt. And so we are pretty miraculous, and we can do a marvelous wonder if we realize who we are and our capacity.
I just love that. And in the positive psychology world, we talk a lot about the hedonic treadmill, which you mentioned there. What if a person feels like their natural state is a little less happy than they want it to be, and they want to tap into this infinite source or well of happiness within? What would you recommend for those people?
We all have different set points, and however, we all have the potential, right? And so that's where I go into rituals and symbols, and that we set up behaviors and we set up intentions to strive for more. We have to identify where we want to go. Where do we want to go? How that scale of happiness, what does that look like? We have to know where we need to go. And that's where we learn that through other people. And that's where we tap into other paradigms. And so one of the favorite things I love to do, I don't do enough, but I love to travel. And I love to travel. Yes, I like to see the famous places, but I love the ordinary people of every country. And I love how they see life and how they find joy in different things, whether it's gardening, whether it's skydiving, things that I probably wouldn't, I don't know if I'd skydive, so I don't know if I'd do that. So I love to see their joy, and they raise my awareness of what potential is. And then you have to do practice, consistent practice, and you have to put effort in. A lot of people don't realize that life is work.
Right.
Thank goodness, because we grow with work.
I think the effort is a key point, and I was having a conversation with a very important woman in my life just yesterday, and she said, what am I even going to make the effort for? It seems like a lot of work if I would go into therapy and I'm going to dust out all these cobwebs, and I'm getting a high just thinking about it. What would I even do this for? I'd rather just take this pill and numb out. Why would I do that? What do I say to her?
And I just had someone share that with me yesterday, and a lot of it is it's fear-based, and I don't want to have pain. However, as we learned earlier today in the show, we don't escape pain. We just store it differently. And usually first we have an experience, and then we have a belief about it. This is horrible. And then we have a feeling about it. This is frightening. And then we have an illness about it, cancer. And so we can choose to deal with one way or another. And so the challenge is, why not deal with it when we just think about it, and then we explore those feelings and express those feelings so we carry it down to the cells of our body. Science is showing, I'm sure you know, that now we store trauma in the very cells of our body. And so we have to get them out. And that's why all therapies are good. Talk is one therapy, one level. And where you talked about prayer and meditation and yoga, I went to and became certified to teach yoga just for that reason, is I want to teach people how to get it out of the cells of their body.
I just love that. There's a Rumi quote, and I'm not going to get it right, but the idea of essentially the door you fear to open leads to a room of peace.
Oh, I love that.
Right? It's just
I love
so
that.
powerful.
Yes.
And how many times we've experienced that where you think there's a monster under the bed when you're a kid and you're afraid to look, but if you would just look, you'd see there's no monster. But we wait and we wait.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We have great imagination. We can create the greatest monsters and the greatest peace.
Fear, false evidence appearing real.
Yes, I love that too.
Amen. Dr. Sherry, please tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
You can find me at aplacetoturn.com. That's my website, and all my other contact information is on there, and you can also get my book. And right now, my latest book, Heal Your Trauma, Heal Your Marriage, 7 Steps to Root, Rebound, and Rise, is free. So please have to it. And I'd love feedback so that I'm learning from you.
It's amazing. Free. You got to get that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sherry.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
I'm Jasmine Moyer, host of Good Morning La La Land on EverTalk TV. As a little girl with big dreams, I couldn't stop talking. I turned that into a career of premieres and red carpets and even a talk show. And recently, I had my aha moment. I was hosting a live event. A woman who represented a national cancer support community gently pulled me aside from the glitz and the glam, and she thanked me for mentioning their program on my show. Because of those few words that I had spoke on air earlier that week, one of our viewers battling cancer reached out and got the financial and emotional support she so desperately needed. I'm so grateful to have experienced that moment, a moment that truly reflects how much conversation and community matters. We need more of what matters. It is my passion and purpose to create content and lead a conversation that will ignite the light in my community and empower them to live their best lives, starting today. I'm Jasmine Moyer, and I'm a host on EverTalk TV.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We've got a young star on the rise with us. You may recognize him as Sheldon from the Chicken Girls movie. Hey, how are you, Grayson?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for being a morning person with us today.
Hey, we know it was a struggle.
That's a big ask from us. I'm sorry about that.
It really is. So we have got to know all about your experience. You've done some incredible projects. Tell us about working with, Annie LeBlanc and on the set of Chicken Girls.
Oh, it was amazing. Again, they asked me to get there at like 9 a.m. And again, I'm not a morning person, but I would arrive on set. I remember bringing this Rubik's Cube there. And fun story, Annie LeBlanc and one of the people on set, her name is Jenny, they sat there and they didn't know whose Rubik's Cube this was, and they started fiddling with it, and Annie solved it. And I'm like, hey, that's mine. I ended up getting like 45 seconds on the cube. And after them fiddling around with it for about 3.5 minutes. But that was one of the stories. It was amazing, though, working with all of them. Like, I had never been on a set where they had me come there for days and days, and it was just really nice getting to know them all.
Well, let's take a look at your experience on Chicken Girls.
I have the hall pass.
En español.
Puede dar el pase de
It's okay. Just go.
Muchas gracias.
He's so cute.
All they do is talk about this dance. Not a single mention of academics. You got it, boss.
Perfect. Not a single thing out of place.
Perfect. Not a single thing out of place.
And
we're way better than that. Shut your trap!
Thank you, Sheldon. Now,
Ma'am.
Yes.
It's showtime.
Let's do this, gentlemen.
Looks like so much fun. Is it fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get nervous?
Yeah, a little nervous kind of all the time.
Yeah. How do you deal with that? Because I know lots of us struggle with that, the anxiety, the nervousness of doing, particularly a role like that big.
I just swallow and I say, don't worry, because at least it's not staged where people are like, hey, if you mess up, it's kind of it.
That's true.
So you get to retake it, but that's kind of what puts me more at ease. But if I ever do have to do something like on stage or live like this, what I'll do is I'll bring something calming to fiddle with, like off stage. Like I have a fidget ring at home as well, where I'll fidget with that, like offset, Rubik's cubes, stress balls, stuff like that.
Oh, I love that.
Are you a master with this? My son is 8 and he's obsessed.
I am not a
teach him some
master,
tricks?
but I can teach you guys a little advanced method. It's called, huh?
I said, all right, teach us.
All right, so it's called, there's ways to do it. There's 2 ways. There's the beginner way, which I'll do real quick. Every time you want to start out with solving a Rubik's Cube, you want to make a cross on the bottom. So that's what we're going to do right now with the red side. So we have a cross, and these all match up with every single one of these centers. The centers can't move. You can move them like that, but they're always going to stay the same. White's going to be above the red, and to the right of the white, it's going to be the blue. So what I do is I start off making that cross all the time, and then this is going to be a little different. I'll start off by matching up these, which is the corner pieces and the edge pieces to fill in the middle layers. So, as you see right here, we have the green, or parts of the green, parts of the yellow, and parts of the red already done. So, you just kind of repeat that over and over until you get to the
Can't
top
believe how
layer.
fast you can make that thing move.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
This is, this is the one that I'd use in competitions. Oh my God, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't speak sometimes.
So you do competitions with it, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's a limit for competitions, like you have to be under a minute, and I'm not the fastest. I do this purely for fun, so like, I'll do competitions, don't get me wrong, but.
You have a day job.
Yeah.
I have a
Pretty
day
cool.
job.
So, have you been acting your whole life?
No, since I was 9, though. I started.
Oh my God, it's
did it.
done. Yeah. So crazy.
That was awesome.
While you're answering questions.
Yeah, you put it down very
I actually started. My mom came one day to a summer daycare that I was at. She's like, "Hey, there's this event going on at the local movie theater," and she said, Grayson Russell from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. He was the Fregley, if you guys remember that. He was the one with the braces. And she's like, "Hey, he's here. You can go meet him if you want." I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" I got to go watch his dog days, got a signing from him, and I got to take one of my friends I've known for years. And I ended up getting invited. I made such a lasting impression on him. I got invited to a set that he was working on there called Space Warriors. And it was about 100 extras, and I was the only one there that was really enjoying it. And after that, his acting coach contacted me. He's like, "Hey, you want to come try out acting?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this would be amazing."
Wow.
So
This is like
That's how it
a true
began?
Hollywood
That is
story
incredible.
right there.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. So, what is your record with this cube?
36.2.
36.2.
But seconds?
Courtney, would you mix it up for us? Our executive producer would like to see if you can break your own record on air with us today.
Break my own
Will you
record.
accept the challenge?
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay.
Courtney's not playing around right now either.
I'm so bummed that my son is not here.
I'll admit, I have never once personally solved a Rubik's Cube.
No,
I haven't even tried. Just
It-
looking at it.
Yeah.
Just looking
Okay,
at it
let's
makes me-
get the clock up
Anxiety.
here, and we'll see if we can break that. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, go. God, I can't believe how quick you can do this.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine what is going on in his mind.
What's going on in my mind is I'm trying to find out where all the pieces are, so then I can match them up and not mess up like I just did. But I'm trying to find all the pieces, so then I can know where they're supposed to fit.
You have it moving before I can even see what pieces are there.
I
That's
agree,
what's
Jess.
incredible.
Yeah, I play a lot of games that require very
Bad, like,
finding things that
messing
yeah.
up his concentration.
Oh no, it's fine. I've had kids come because the way my school works, I'm homeschooled, but we had a charter school, and every week we would go and to this like actual church, and we would have school. And a lot of kids called me the Rubik's Cube kid because I would always bring like a new Rubik's Cube every week, and I ended up bringing over 50, which I have at my house
50?
right now. Yeah.
Wow.
50 different kinds of cubes?
Yeah, all shapes and sizes.
Look at that. Boom.
Oh my God.
Boom.
Incredible.
Oh my goodness.
Solved right here. Grayson, please tell everyone where they can find and follow your personal journey and catch your next projects.
You can find me at Grayson Kilpatrick on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yeah, and where can they watch you next?
You can watch me on Watch My Shorts Man on YouTube, or you can watch me on Grayson Kilpatrick.
Awesome. We are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All of today's interviews are available as a podcast on iTunes, and the whole show is streaming on EverTalk TV on Apple TV and Roku.
That's right, we're waking up the world together. DM us, send us a message, let us know what you're looking for. Also, so much love and gratitude for Courtney Friel.
Thanks for having me.
Where can they find you?
Courtney Friel on social media and KTLA.
Channel 5. It's going to be a good morning, La La Land.